Right here, right now. Right here, right now.
Right here, right now. Did you see they had the counter?
Right here.
Did you see that?
Yeah, that was awesome.
I think he got up to 20 or 21.
I don't know how they were counting it because I looked at it one time, it was at like 4, and then the next time I looked at it, it was at like 10 or 12.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was wild. But dude, everybody needs a Blaine Hovenier.
Yeah, he's great.
He's like the ultimate.
Do you see his wind up for the butt smack?
Oh yeah, he's like the ultimate teammate.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I love that guy.
No, he's nice. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, all right. Welcome back, everybody. We are back in the OG studio.
Yeah.
For a couple more times, I think.
All blue everything.
All blue.
We got lots of different shades of blue here today.
Are we matching right now?
I think that we would be like distant cousins. Like if we were in Arkansas, we could probably get married, but Alabama definitely, but probably more like cousins.
Real quick, there was a lot of comments on our last video.
Really? I never read the comments.
I think you need to make an apology.
To what?
To who?
To who?
Yes.
Who?
Ava Ignatowicz.
Why?
You were not very nice to her.
Because I said she's the worst signed PPA player?
Yeah, and it's a bit ironic when you defended her against Colin Johns, and then you go on to say she's the worst player.
Yeah, but I defended her because he was being an a-hole.
Yeah.
I didn't defend her skill level by any means. Ava's great. Ava is a good person. I'm sure she has a sweet spirit.
There were a lot of comments that were pointing that out.
I'm sure that she is a wonderful human being. And unfortunately, that does not always carry over to making you a good pickleball player.
All right, moving on. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of King of the Court. We are your hosts, Tyler and
Jimmy Miller.
What does your hat say? I have to go upside down to see it.
The Pickler.
Nice.
Our title sponsor. I'm just trying to rep the brand.
I don't have one of those hats.
Listen, rep who reps you. Support who supports you.
Okay, thank you to the Pickler for being the title sponsor of King of the Court podcast. This podcast would not be possible without their support, so thank you for your support. If you're interested in becoming a member at the world's largest indoor pickleball facility, go check them out. They're incredible, and they are also expanding to so many new locations. They have 45 open locations with many more coming this year. If you're interested in opening your own business, reach out to them and tell them that the guys at KOTC sent you.
Yeah, so big news from the Pickler this week. First of all, if you want one of these hats, I wore this hat in Austin, and I had a lot of people ask me where I got it. So you can get it in the Pickler Pro Shop. Mm-hmm. All the Picklers nationwide should have them. So check that out. So if you want one, you need to go to Pickler Pro Shop, Tyler. Second thing, June 5th. So probably the day after this is released.
Okay. I
would assume. We have a commercial coming out.
We do. We're going to Hollywood.
We're going to Hollywood. We filmed a commercial for the Pickler. I don't know if it's going to be funny. I don't know if it's going to fall flat, but we're very proud of it. So
what can we expect?
Keep your comments to yourself. I think we can expect absolute fireworks.
Okay. Thank you, Pickler. Also, King of the Court, KOTC, has a code for all PPA and also MLP tournaments, events. And so if you're planning on going to spectate, which pickleball is the best to spectate in person, use our code KOTC at checkout to save a decent amount of change.
Honestly, if you have never been to beautiful, stunning Daytona, now is your chance. You could attend the MLP event this week in Daytona Beach. I mean, if it has a beach after it, it's got to be amazing.
Yep.
Daytona Beach, Florida.
What about Virginia Beach?
Same thing. I mean, I'm sure it's wonderful. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, you know, they do a race in Daytona, NASCAR race. So it's, I mean, go check it out. Go check out the racetrack.
So I was talking with somebody at MLP.
Yeah.
And they said, hey, we listen to your podcast. We love it. However, you've got to tell Jimmy to stop talking down on Daytona.
That's why I'm hyping him up right now. It's a beach. So go have a beach vacation in Daytona. Okay. And go watch a little bit of MLP and use code KOTC.
What can you expect to see on the corners in Daytona? Like corner of the streets? Intersections and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I would. Here's the thing, okay? Let me just be very clear about this. all the matches in Phoenix were night matches, right? They started
Except for Sunday.
Except for Sunday, but they started 3 o'clock or later. They did the night, right? They
Yeah.
will not do that in Daytona. You better be tucked away, locked in your hotel room when the sun goes down. That's all I'll say. But during the day, when there's police presence, it's great.
Okay, also we have a code with Pickleball Central, who is the #1 online retailer for all things pickleball. Bags, paddles, balls, anything pickleball related, they'll have it. Click the link in our description below to apply a discount to your order.
Yeah, like literally it's kind of fun because we don't know what the discount is on each product.
And some of them work and some of them don't.
Yeah, but some of them are great discounts and some of them are like 1%. But at the end of the day, it's kind of fun. It's like playing Plinko on Price is Right.
Exactly.
So,
okay, Jimmy, we had a week last week. We were in Mesa, Arizona. It was called the Phoenix MLP.
Close enough, right? Like
Yeah.
we're going to call Salt Lake, but it's actually going to be in Kaysville.
I think it's a little bit closer than that, but
You think Mesa's closer to Phoenix than Kaysville to Salt Lake?
no, I think Kaysville to Salt Lake is closer than
Mesa
Mesa
to Phoenix.
Yeah.
I agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah, so we had that. It was only Premier teams.
Yeah. So
in
challenger
Phoenix?
teams all play the same events because
Yep.
it's just a full round robin at every event.
Yep.
So only Premier. So I thought that there's a couple interesting things in it. It's more just kind of a luck of the draw, but like there wasn't a lot of the. I mean, this is not a slight on you. Just don't take it that way.
I'm taking it that
But
way.
there wasn't a lot of the top men
Wow.
that were there.
Wow. So my wins mean nothing.
No, your wins mean a lot. I'm just saying there wasn't a lot of top men on the teams. It was the teams that are very female heavy in the rankings.
Okay.
So I felt like we had a lot of really good women's matches. I mean, Tyra and Georgia are there, right? Jade and Catherine, Jackie and Rachel. Vivian Glassman showed up. I'm not sure she was actually there, but she physically was there.
Calm down.
But there was a lot. So I felt like there was a lot of really good women's matches.
Okay.
So let's get into it. I mean, we started off.
Real quick, this was in Mesa. It was pretty hot. However, they played most of the matches on CC, which had a shade structure, which was incredible.
Yeah.
I think all outdoor courts need a shade structure, which is very costly, but it improves the experience.
Well, if you're in
much more.
Phoenix, like it's impossible. You can't play outside in Phoenix in the summer.
Yes, yeah. I was talking to Charles, and he was all like, the issue with this is it's about 2 months too late.
Yeah.
Like, there's about 2 million people less here in Scottsdale in Arizona than 2 months ago.
Because of the snowbirds.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. So one thing I'll say, a couple things. I love the court colors.
I actually really liked them as well.
Yeah, they
Well,
went-
just on center court.
Yeah, but they went gray and red.
Yep.
I thought it looked great, so I'm going to give props to that.
I don't know why they didn't do neon red and neon gray or something.
Is there a neon gray?
There's got to be. I'm sure PPA will find a
So
way.
props to Phoenix. I assume Phoenix chose those. They kind of match their colors.
Yeah, I think so.
It would be cool if they went at gold. How sick would it be if they did a gold net?
Gold. Dipped in gold.
Dipped in gold. Okay, so good. That's props to that. Second thing we should talk about really quick. There was a theft in Austin.
Yes.
So
Well, theft.
I still think someone put it on the wrong truck. But for those that don't know, the paddle testing machine did not make it from Austin to Phoenix.
It did not.
Allegedly, there has been a police report filed. It is a theft. Now, this machine, I was told, is 125 to 150 pounds. So I'm really confused. And if you went to Austin,
Were they in Daytona when this occurred?
but I'm telling you right now, North Austin gives Daytona a run for its money. So if you went to Austin, I mean, they have like this back parking lot area, which was VIP. That's where AL's bus was actually, and that's where the owners parked. And then that's where like all the production trucks and like the semis and stuff were. I just can't imagine somebody just walking back there, picking up a 125-pound paddle machine, throwing it in the back of their truck and driving away.
Yeah.
But
Crazier things have happened.
crazier things have happened. There was a police report filed. And I think the craziest thing is there's no backup paddle testing machine.
The paddle testing was pretty epic.
So I heard that this is what the paddle testing was. Yep, looks good.
Put the sticker on.
Put the
Put the colored sticker on.
colored stickered and move on. Oh gosh.
My gosh, you're breaking everything.
I'm the worst. Oh, that's back
You're
there.
breaking my Legos.
Oh, they didn't hit the Legos.
You already broke it already though.
Oh, this guy. Anyways, so that's what the paddle testing consisted of. Do you think anybody, knowing that, because they sent out an email to the players, cheated?
Intentionally?
Yeah, like do you think that they maybe swapped out a paddle that they thought might not pass?
I don't know.
Did you feel like there were any paddles were hotter than normal?
Many paddles have a lot of power today, so it's hard to differentiate.
Well, we know QD's paddles did not pass last event.
Yeah.
They definitely passed this weekend.
Yeah.
On the 2 games he played.
Duke? Where was Duke last week? Should we check his car?
Yeah, I mean, did Duke take the machine? So yeah, that was gone. So there was 0 paddle testing. Kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Hopefully they find it. I don't know how long it takes to build a new machine if they can't find it. Mm-hmm. It feels like there should have been a backup. I'm confused by that. Like there's only 1 paddle testing machine. Mm-hmm. You know what they should do? They should call USA Pickleball and see if they have one they can borrow.
Can we borrow it?
Can we borrow it or APP?
Ken Herman?
Hey, Ken.
Do you think he could deliver it himself?
Yeah, absolutely. But honestly, So look, there's a few suspects that are pretty easy. Brooks Wiley was on site at MLP.
Steve Kuhn?
Steve Kuhn lives close to Austin.
Ken Herman?
And Ken Herman is a prime suspect. Did one of them take the paddle testing machine?
I don't know. Let's put it
Or did cool guy Gary not pay his bills and it got repoed? And he's just not admitting it.
Oh, man.
Isn't his wife like one of the Real Housewives or something?
I believe she was on one of the seasons.
So what if it got repoed? Anyways, paddle testing machine is gone. So now's the time. You want to use a hot paddle? All I'm going to say is you better wear your eye protection for Daytona. So first match of MLP was Brooklyn against the Mad Drops.
Okay.
Mad Drops were without QD.
Okay.
He was suspended for playing in an unsanctioned event. A little follow-up on that, Tyler.
Real quick. So he played in that event. He did not win that event.
No. Him and Bao actually got bounced early. So either the Vietnamese skill level is up there, or he just couldn't. Because I'm going to assume that Bao played well. Because Bao's the GOAT.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that Bao played well, and he did not hold up his end of the bargain. Because there's no way that Bao would lose. So they got bounced early. But then a memo went out to the players. Mm-hmm. And they said, we heard a rumor. A lot of you were trying to play in these money balls.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you.
I did not out anybody. I told you snitches get stitches. I didn't tell a single person.
Thank you, Jimmy.
I didn't say who it was.
You got a lot of people coming for you now.
I didn't say who it was, but I said that in the past, players have played in money balls.
You gave a name right then when you said it.
Okay, James Ignatowicz, yes.
And there was one or two others, I thought.
Well, yeah. Well, look, there was one last year. Now that it's out there and they're saying the players can't play in it, there was one last year where I'm pretty sure Anna Bright, played against the dudes.
All right, so real quick, what are your thoughts on that? I get what they're trying to do, but for example, if I get together with a group of my friends, Spencer Smith, Todd Fote, Connor Garnett, and a bunch of other locals, and we say, hey, put in $50 or $100 or whatever it is.
I think that's different. I think that's like
how is it?
It's not an organized sanctioned event. The problem with these money balls is they're like actual tournaments.
Yeah.
And the thing is who's to say that some of these money balls don't get some massive sponsor, right? And they stream them.
Yeah.
And then they become more sanctioned events. If it's just you and your buddies, I think that's probably a little different. It's kind of like gambling, right? Like if you guys are just betting on games.
Mm-hmm. But that's how Moneyball gets started. It's just a group of people.
There's that misogynist weirdo that posts how he's a Moneyball king all over Twitter all the time and says that he doesn't let women play because they're too emotional and dramatic. That weirdo. He lives in St. George.
I think you would rival them.
No,
with your drama you bring.
I actually would appreciate if women would play. So I just remember last year, and I'm not saying that she broke any rules, but it was like AB played in one. I think that They played against the men. Travis and Graham, I think, played together. Which
I think that was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Maybe that was 2 or 3 years ago, yeah. When they got bounced early, no surprise.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is this is pretty common.
Yeah.
For these players to play these like little money balls and these other events. I mean, Regina Goldberg and Johnny Goldberg played an event over the weekend. I don't know if I assume they're not signed PPA
I don't know
anymore.
if they are, yeah.
But my point is it's very common. And now PPA
You put an end to it.
PPA, I did not. Dylan Seeger. Actually, it's got to be Chris Patrick. He's the bad guy. He's the bad cop. But they put an end to it. I see why. One, like I said, if it's streamed, you're bringing, what if one of those money balls, like you said, that's how it starts. What if it evolves to like a full-blown mini tour and then something else, right? What if there's an injury? If AL tears her ACL playing freaking money ball.
Yeah, but what if there's an injury during practice?
Sure. I agree. It could happen at any time, but if it happens during practice, it's a little easier to swallow than if it happens playing an unsanctioned money ball event.
Okay.
Right? If LeBron gets hurt playing in the Drew League, you know what the Drew League is?
I know what the Powder League is.
So the Drew League is it's like a league in Southern California. A lot of ex-college and pros play in it. And LeBron, sometimes he'll show up and run a couple games. If he gets injured playing in the Drew League, I think that
He's able to do that?
they do allow them to do that, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of big name players have played in the
Well,
Drew
then
League.
why doesn't PPA allow us to do that?
Well, I don't think that the Drew League is like streamed. So here's an example. It's almost like a rec league for basketball.
I'm surprised NBA is allowing him to do that.
You've heard of the TBT, the basketball tournament. So what the TBT is, it's $1 million prize. It's on ESPN. And like guys will play like from their school, right? Like everybody that went to Dayton will play on a team, even like spanning 10 years. And it's like I said, $1 million prize money, but NBA guys can't play in that because it's streamed. It's on ESPN. It's technically a competing league. So
Okay.
I don't know. Anyways, Brooklyn, LA, they play, and Catherine Parento and Jade Kawamoto. Did you know that they are 8-1 in women's this year?
I did not know that until you mentioned that.
Do you know who their one loss is to?
It's got to be a really good team if they beat them because they're 8-1.
Yeah, be incredible, right?
Yeah.
Their one loss is to Millie Rain and Maya Bowie.
Incredible team.
They've beaten Tyra and Georgia, who had not lost. They beat
And they beat them with a pretty big
11-3 in 11 minutes.
Yeah.
They beat Jackie and Rachel this weekend. They beat Glosman this weekend. They are on a tear. And their one loss was to Millie and Maya, which
got to keep their expectations centered.
Yeah, a little bit surprising. But anyways, what I will say is that Jade, I'm going to glaze her a little bit because I'm related to her. But Jade was phenomenal this weekend.
Which one is she?
The lefty.
Which team?
Mad drops.
Okay. She was really good.
She was really freaking good, right?
Yeah.
You guys played against
her. She was solid. I was telling you this before.
Yeah.
I don't think she's very flashy, but she is solid. She gets almost all the balls back. Yeah. She attacks well.
Yeah.
She just gets a lot of balls.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I thought that she played great this weekend. I think LA. So Brooklyn ended up beating LA. This was the very first match. But I actually thought that LA going 4-2 overall without QD was pretty impressive. Now look, they didn't play. They lost to the two top teams there. I think most people would say Brooklyn and the Flash were the two best teams there. They lost to them, but they did what they were supposed to do against the other teams. It could have got really out of hand where, you start dropping matches to teams you probably shouldn't. They beat you guys, which I think is a pretty impressive win. Yeah. Considering they had Spencer Smith and not QD. And you guys had 3 wins on the weekend.
Utah Black Diamonds.
Yeah.
3 wins. We went from 15th place up to 9th place.
Yeah, you're going to mess around and make the playoffs, Tyler.
I know. Got to be careful.
You don't want to go to San Diego?
Of course I thought it was New York.
Oh, yeah. The first round's in San Diego.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, Yeah, I mean, again, that was the first match of the day. Like I said, I thought Jade played really well. I think the women overall, like I said, it's stacked. The women in this event were very stacked. So big win for Brooklyn. And then you guys play Atlanta. I want to talk about this just for a minute. Okay.
So this was our first match.
Your first match.
Yeah. Each of the teams had 6 matches.
Yes. It was basically a round robin format.
Yeah.
You played every team once. There's a lot of disconnect, rumors. I don't know what's going on with Atlanta, but it feels like Atlanta is a bit fractured right now.
Yep.
It feels like they need. I don't know what it is. I think Leanne is probably trying to hold it together with duct tape and yarn and everything that she can. There was talk that Glossman was crying at one point. They got pickled a couple of times. Victoria DiMuzio actually allegedly had an illness.
Also, a little bit of background. Atlanta was one of the challenger teams last year, and they moved up to Premier.
They did move up, but they moved up, but they paid $150K for Glossman, and they paid $70K for Victoria DiMuzio. So, and then they had Jaume and Todd from their team last year. So, I mean, they're $220,000 into it. They're owned by a corporation, Stella Artois. Anheuser-Busch Corporation. And so I think that they are hamstringed a little bit more than other teams. Their budget's probably a little bit different. And it feels like they blew out the budget on 2 players who are not really performing well. Do you think Glossman's lack of PPA reps is hurting her in MLP? Because she's only playing MLP.
It's tough to say because in PPA, for example, put her on a different team. Do you think she'd be still having the same results?
So I feel like in women's, no, because I don't think Victoria DiMuzio is there yet. I think she's struggled. But she is playing with Jaume in mixed, and they also are not winning.
Yeah, but as you have alluded to and said, there seems to be quite a bit of disconnect.
Yeah, I think that do they need like a team bonding? Do they need
they need a Blaine Hovenier smack to the butt?
Everybody needs a Blaine Hovenier. Like every team needs that guy.
Yeah.
They really do. Like he is. I mean, that team, the so-called Hard Eights they have 1 win this year. And Blaine, you would think that dude has won freaking 10 championships. It's incredible. He has to play next to Ryan Fu, who rivals Ava Ignatowicz as the worst signed player in PPA history. And he acts like he is the happiest guy alive.
He's great.
I honestly, I would trade for Blaine Hovenier just to have that energy.
Who would you trade?
Anybody.
Rafa?
I'd trade myself.
Would you trade Rafa?
Yeah. If round him up Rafa doesn't come back, because we didn't get a single round him up in Austin.
Not one?
Not one.
Wow.
Yeah, it hurt me, honestly.
Rafa, where you at?
If round him up Rafa doesn't come back, then yeah. I'm going to go get Blaine because I need some energy.
All right.
Juan has a ton of energy.
All right.
Juan goes, "Come on, Bears. California Black Bears." Juan's great.
Okay. What are some other matches? So you were talking about the Calmotos, one of them.
Yeah. So Jade, like I said, Jade played awesome. Jackie actually played really well too. Jackie's only loss was to Jade, by the way.
It's in the contract.
It is in the contract. So I want to talk about, there was a matchup. First of all, Jelena Ingram got called up from the Hard Eights. She's 17 years old.
Arizona
girl. Irina had a hurt knee. She's wearing a knee brace, a knee sleeve. And so Jelena ends up playing, and her and Blaine beat Tyra Black and Augie Guh.
Yeah, the match was already over.
It was over, correct. But I feel like that's a good win.
That's a great win.
That's a solid win for them. Mad Drops. So Phoenix, the home team, I feel like they really struggled. So during their match, Greg Dow was on the call.
Do you have the clipboard?
I do not, but there's some funny stuff on the clipboard.
Yeah.
Yours said Queen of the Court.
Queen of the Court, and he came up to me and said, "I know it's not that funny, but I have to be careful. I don't want to get on your bad side with the podcast, and then also with Connor Pardo. I mean, he's got a.
Did you know that Brant Weiss was on a reality show called F Boy Island?
Tell me more.
I mean, is that fitting for him?
Perfect.
Do you think he won? Like, if you were on that reality show, do you want to go home early or do you want to win? Because if you win, doesn't that make you the ultimate F-boy?
I think that's
But
the
if you
goal.
go home early, you're like, okay, yeah, I wasn't. I'm not one.
I'm close, but not that close.
Yeah, I'm not one. Like, I made the show, but I'm actually not one.
Yeah.
So maybe that's like a reality show you don't want to win.
He had a whistle too.
Dude, okay, we got to talk about this.
I thought it was hilarious.
I think we should rate this, okay? Okay, most annoying to least annoying.
Okay.
Vuvuzelas,
Okay. Those are top.
the stupid fives chant, and the whistle.
I thought the whistle was hilarious. And
Okay.
he was only doing it at certain times when they were winning, which they were not winning that much, so he didn't have to do it.
Did you? So Vuvuzelas are one.
Yes.
Everybody agrees, right?
Yeah.
Then probably the fives chant, then the whistle.
Got to be there. Yeah.
So on that, they did that Saturday night match. They're playing Brooklyn. They're playing Brooklyn, and I don't know if you saw it, but like midpoint, Jackie goes to hit a ball, and like a train horn goes off, or some horn goes off literally midpoint.
Yeah.
Like you could
Like in the stands or outside?
I don't know if it's in the stands or outside. You could hear it on the broadcast, but I don't know how close it was. But it clearly like startled her, and she like misses the shot, and she looks around like, "What?" And everyone just kind of started laughing.
Yeah.
Like it was almost like there's always those a-holes. You might be one of them, so I'll be careful. But they drive by a golf course, and whenever someone's about to tee off, they scream out the window.
Yeah.
That's what it felt
What do they
like.
yell? Four?
Yeah, they'll yell like 4. They'll be
Yeah.
like, Always happens. If you ever play on a golf course that's close to a road, somebody's going to do it.
Yeah.
But that's what it felt like. It was like right as she went to hit a shot, there was like this massive horn goes
Yeah.
off.
We might have one. Hold on.
Seriously, that's what it was like. And so then she was like, "Oh, put a dink in the net," and all they could do is like laugh about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So look, here's the thing. We could recap all these, but I feel like it went exactly how we expected it to go. The Flash went undefeated. They're still undefeated on the season.
Mm-hmm.
The Brooklyn lost one match to the Flash, which again, I think that's what we probably would have expected. Now, one thing I will say, Tyra and Georgia beat Rachel and Jackie 11-9. J-Dub and Augie beat Riley and Deckle 11-6.
Okay.
J-Dub and Georgia won 12-10, and then Riley and Jackie won 12-10. So that's very close. Like if that was flipped, it very easily could have been 3-1 Brooklyn.
Yeah, I mean, Utah had a couple of matches also where had we won one more match, we would have been in the Dream Breaker.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I was actually talking about getting to is Utah ended up playing Brooklyn on Sunday, and it was a very similar situation, right? So your women lost. Unfortunately, that was kind of a theme for the weekend. But you and Connor Garnett, you beat Riley and Deckle. So after that match, we're going to talk about this. Kyle McKenzie gets interviewed.
Okay.
He's the coach of the Brooklyn pickleball team.
Our favorite.
He's very smug. I mean, he just is. It is what it is. It's his personality. Even the look on his face when he's on the sidelines with his arms folded, he's just a smug person. And he goes up there. And
What's the definition of a smug person?
just like almost like I'm too good for you.
Okay.
Yeah, he just like he's kind of a little bit puts himself on a pedestal, kind of a high horse type of guy.
Okay.
So he goes up there and he won't give credit to your team for probably like the first 3 minutes he's talking.
Okay.
Riley, you guys had just beat Riley and Deckle. Tyler, is probably as well as I've seen you play in a long time. I thought you were excellent.
Thank you.
Like I'm not just, but I thought you played very, very well. You blew up Riley over and over and over again. And finally, after a little bit of poking and prodding from, I believe it was Dave Fleming and Cam Irwin.
Okay.
He finally says, yeah, so a lot of guys can just hit the ball through Riley. Almost throws his own player under the bus.
I'll throw my own players before I give them credit.
He like wasn't going to give you guys credit. And then all of a sudden he goes, yeah, a lot of guys can just hit the ball through Riley. And then he's like, but that was a very good team we played. Like, so he like finally started to back off a little bit.
Yeah.
But you could tell he was annoyed that they lost to you.
Yeah.
So is that like Riley Newman, is that the play on him? Like you can hit the ball through him now? Because you guys did, I mean, Tyler, you guys sped up every ball. I mean, you're hitting two-ees off the bounce right into his freaking body. Is it because the...
Do you like two-e tie?
Two-e tie?
Two-e tie.
Dude, who came up with that?
Elise.
Wow, that's not bad.
Two-e tie.
Elise is the one person that calls you Ty more than anyone else. She also was like on the bench and she was like, yeah, Genie, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elise rivals Blaine Javenier with fewer ass slaps.
I don't know about that.
Oh, she's a butt slapper?
Her and Connor Garnett.
Oh, that makes sense. Connor Garnett seems like the type. So, yeah, Riley Newman.
That's interesting because...
Is it the grip? Is it because he tries to scorpion the pancake grip?
Riley's known for having pretty good hands.
That's what I'm saying. He's pretty good at the net,
Yeah.
but he was getting destroyed in that match.
Yeah.
And he was getting destroyed all weekend. Like even Sock and Tyson.
How many losses did they have in men's? Brooklyn. Do you know?
Let's see. So they lost to you guys.
Uh-huh.
And then
They lost to Flash.
they lost to Flash. They beat the Bouncers.
Mad Drops?
Let's see how they did again. No, they beat the Mad Drops.
Okay. So it's
And
probably
they beat
just,
the Hard Eights. So they might have only lost twice.
Yeah, twice. And their loss to Flash was 10-12, I believe.
11-6.
Oh, really? Oh,
So they kind of got
Okay.
blasted by the...
gotcha.
Let's see. Thursday. Yeah. So they... But like I said, the men's team, but the men's teams weren't as strong as the women's teams.
Yeah, yeah.
Because look, they beat Spencer Smith and Hunter Johnson in Spencer's very first match, right? They beat Jaume and Todd. They lost. J-Dub obviously is elite, but they lost to J-Dub and Augie. They lost to you guys. I would say you guys are probably the second best team there, men's team. I mean, you beat them.
We barely lost to J-Dub and Augie. We had them 9-9 and with our serve.
Yeah, I don't want to put it on anybody, but Connor Garnett spent an entire match versus the Flash trying to speed up J-Dub and Georgia. In men's, he kept going at J-Dub, and in women's, he kept going at Georgia. I mean, in mixed and women's. And that didn't work out well for him. So, but yeah, you guys lost 11-9. So I would say you guys were the second best men's team there. I don't think that's even an argument.
Okay.
Especially because you beat the other team that people would probably argue would be. So anyways, I felt like the thing with MLP this year, and this is where we're getting a lot of complaints, is everything is playing out exactly as predicted on paper.
Yeah, so somebody posted, I don't know if it was Tice or somebody posted a graphic and said that, so there's 16 teams in Premier.
Yeah.
The top 8 are 100% undefeated against the bottom 8.
Yeah. Yeah. So the
So
top
it's
8
perfectly symmetrically split.
Yeah, so the top 8 are 42-0 against the bottom 8, and
Yep.
the top 8 are 21-21 against each other.
Yep.
And the bottom 8 are 0 whatever against the top 8, 42 I guess it would be, and then 21-21 against each other, something like that. So yeah, I mean, so nobody from the bottom 8 has upset a team.
Do we need to bring back rally scoring to make things interesting?
I mean, maybe, but the interesting thing is that like team number 9, which is you guys right now, hasn't even upset team number 8, which is LA.
Yeah.
But I mean, a long season. But it's interesting that, or like team 10 is Miami, I believe. Miami hasn't been able to beat team 7, which is, I can't even remember who team 7 is. It's
Might
not
be
DC.
Miami, or no, Miami.
Not DC. DC 6, right? Anyways, it's Columbus.
Okay.
So we haven't even seen like 10-7 or 8-9 beat each other. It's literally top 8, bottom 8.
Real quick, Jimmy, we got to give a big shout out to our next sponsor, which is C&D Pickleball Nets. We love their nets. They are the best pickleball nets out there. We talk about them every single show. Go to bestpickleballnets.com and use code KOTC. As we talked about last time, there's even executives and staffs and employees that are using our code and buying C&D Pickleball Nets because they too know that they are the best nets out there.
I bet they'd do a gold custom net for you. Paint it gold for the Phoenix Flames.
Yeah. Well,
Proton
Proton
has
has the blue one.
Yeah, they have a blue one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for the support, C&D. As I said, nets, pickleball nets, elevate the pickleball experience 100%. If you are wanting to play with the best and elevate your game, you need the best equipment, and that is why you should use and buy C&D Pickleball Nets.
Yes. All right. So a couple quick matches here. So Saturday night, 9:30 p.m. Mountain Time. So 8:30 p.m. local time. They did Saturday night pickleball. Okay. Right before that, they did a celeb pro-am. James Valentine.
Yeah, he was there.
He was there. You played with him before. He's in Utah quite a bit. Super cool guy. Very good pickleball player.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably high 4.5.
Yeah, he could even border 5-0. I was talking to him before, and he said he might be playing in qualifiers or 5.0 with Ryan Cherry.
Yeah. I mean, he's good enough, I think. He plays every day.
Nicest guy out there, too.
Yeah, plays
really
every day. So for who's that don't know, he's a member of Maroon 5. Anyways, they have, I believe they have residency in Vegas right now, right?
They do. It may have just ended or ends really soon, but they have had it.
Yeah. So
I saw him live.
Yeah, that's right. You went with Connor Garnett and Ali.
He hooked it up.
Yeah. I know the Brashas have been.
Yeah.
They've played with him before. So anyways, really cool guy. So he played in the Celebrity Pro-Am. Him and Jesse won the whole thing. It wasn't even close. I mean, the dude is just dominated.
Yeah.
No surprise that like AQ Shipley, who's an offensive lineman, and so Logan Lyle. Do you remember Logan Lyle from Vegas?
Yeah, the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Super Bowl. So he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
But after that, so they have all the fans there. They play a Saturday night match, and it's the Flash versus the Flames. So earlier in the week, Greg Dow is announcing a match versus the Flames, and he makes a comment about Jack Sock.
Yeah.
He basically says this.
For those that don't know, Greg Dow, he's relatively funny.
Yeah.
He says a few outlandish things, but he's pretty funny.
I mean, he literally said that Jeannie Arakina is like having a dude on the court. And then he goes, I mean her body. Like that made it better. Yeah, that was his exact words. So anyways, and after he had said that, then the Flames played another match and Dow was like kind of brought up his comment. So what Dow said was that Jack Sock, either sometimes he plays like he's a top 20 player, sometimes he plays like he's a top 200 player. Jack took some offense to it.
A lot of offense. He even went to Twitter.
And then Greg, they did an interview and Jack kind of brought it up in the interview and basically said the rankings don't lie. So anyways, he ends up playing that match and you could tell that Jack had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. And so him and Tyson play against J-Dub and Augie. Dude, I don't even know how else to say it, but Jack was phenomenal. He was absolutely phenomenal in that match. He was hitting.
What rank was he in that match?
Inside out forehand. Yeah, he was top 5 in that. He was hitting inside out forehands. He was, just freaking. We all know that he has a massive drive, massive forehand. Ripping the ball down the line. He was poaching. He was insane. And they end up winning 11-9.
They beat J-Dub
and Augie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Jack and Tyson.
So they ended up losing one?
Yeah, so they ended up losing.
Wow.
Yeah, so Jack and Tyson beat J-Dub and Augie 11-9. Tyson was great too. He played the right. He did exactly what he's supposed to. At 9-9, Tyson actually had a sick backhand poach for a winner. But here's the interesting thing. So then we go to mixed. And their mixed team loses 11-1, 11-3, the Flames. So did Jack prove Dow right?
Oh, I mean, it's tough to say because you're playing the Flash. The Flash is literally the defending champion.
Okay, but if you're a top 20 player, do you lose 11-1 in mixed?
No, you shouldn't lose 11-1.
11-3 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Right? So, especially when the match was still in doubt. It wasn't a 3-0.
Yeah.
It was 2-1 at that point. And so I actually went and looked at Jack's ranking because I was curious. Do you know what he's ranked in men's?
Oh, I think people pulled it up, but is he around 24?
He's 48.
No, 40. Yeah, 48. 48 in men's doubles.
In men's. Yeah, which, I mean, again, it's not top 200, but.
Well, it is top 200.
I mean, what I'm saying is, yes, it is top. But the way that Dow was saying 200th ranked.
Yeah.
He's 21st in mixed. Which is kind of interesting because who has he played mixed with to be 21st?
I think that's higher than me.
It is higher than you, but who has he played mixed with to get to 21st? I guess he played with Catherine.
He plays on center. Oh, Catherine, yeah.
last year. I wonder
Yeah.
if those points are still. If those points are still the 20,
Yeah. The
12-month
rolling
cycle.
calendar.
Yeah, and then in men's singles, he's actually the highest in men's singles. He's 12.
Okay.
So 48, 21, and 12.
What are your thoughts on that? So I don't play any other sports professionally. Shocking.
You don't play two professional sports?
But it seems like, in my opinion, there's a lot of, I don't want to call them thin-skinned pickleball players, but it seems like a lot of pickleball players especially take comments very personal.
Yeah,
More so than other sports.
Look, I mean, I think everybody.
Like, for example, do you think Jack Sock was commenting or responding back to people on Twitter when he was playing tennis?
I'm sure he was to a point, maybe, but this is the thing with pickleball. We've talked about this. The pros in pickleball are so easily accessible, compared to other sports.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
I mean, there are pros sitting amongst the fans, watching.
But the only thing I'd say and counter to that is that there's 10 times more haters, 20 times more haters in other sports too.
That's true. Well, there is
like the amount of hate. I don't like him, but the amount of hate that LeBron gets or all these top NBA stars is crazy.
That's true, but the haters also tend to be the loudest.
Mm-hmm.
The trolls tend to be the loudest, right? We see it in pickleball.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know who the trolls are, and they're the loudest.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that post the most, and clearly don't have jobs and sit on Twitter or Discord or whatever all day long and just light up people or make videos lighting up the dumb things people have done or the mistakes they've made. And some people, that's just what they do.
Pardo is wild. I was talking with him, and there was this Twitter troll that was there kind of anonymously. And I was like, hey, that's this guy. And I told him his name, and Pardo just starts yelling out his name.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me.
He starts just yelling out his name.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I think that I think it's interesting, just because that access is so close. I don't know if they're more thin-skinned or not, but dude, I don't read the comments on the podcast because I get destroyed a lot of times.
Yeah.
I've been destroyed on Twitter and other and Instagram and other things, and probably rightfully so. Mm-hmm. So it's almost human nature. However, with that being said, it's like, for me, it's the same thing that I said to you about like Matt Wright. Mm-hmm. If you want to shut him up, then win.
Not entirely. The trolls will troll no matter what.
And I'm not saying that like it's that easy, but like Jack.
Yeah.
Like, look, dude, you created. Like, I like Jack. Like, I've talked to Jack. Like, I've had long conversations with him. But dude, you've created this persona that you don't give a shit. Mm-hmm. You made the comments that it's just hitting a wiffle ball, right? You've literally, we can call it what we call it, but you've literally tanked matches. I mean, in Salt Lake City against Grayson Golden, he was walking over to the bench with Connor Pardo sitting right there and basically saying, I can't win because
paddle situation.
I can't win against Ayola. And, Connor was sitting right there, and like, it was clear that Jack wasn't trying. Mm-hmm. He just recently pulled out for an event because of an ankle injury, and then he went and played golf. I'm not saying that he wasn't hurt and he couldn't play golf. The point is
I think you were. You tweeted about that.
I did not. The point I'm making is he has created this persona that he doesn't care. Now all of a sudden he cares, and he's taking it serious, and you can see it. He's lost weight. Mm-hmm. He is, putting in the time, putting in the effort, but it's going to take him more time to shake this I don't care attitude, right? And I think that a lot of times he would pretend not to care because it's easier to explain a loss if you pretend you weren't trying.
Agreed.
Than if you're giving your all out and you still lose.
Okay.
But we saw it, dude, when he is on and he is going all out. The guy is amazing.
I've played him, 5 to 10 times. So I've seen quite a bit of his game, and there's been a couple times that he is probably playing how he did against the Flash, and he was running around everything, just lights out, and he is tough.
Yeah.
He is scary. We were able to withstand it, but seeing that side of him is
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And so maybe for him it's just more consistency, but obviously the skill set is there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like I said, I think that he'll have more people rally around him as he continues to prove how much he does actually care.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a tough situation.
It is. But like I said, I mean, he
Partners, I've said this ever since I started playing pickleball. Partners are tough. Partner situation is very tough.
Yeah, and he's clearly a very loyal dude. He played with Schick and Roddy when I think he probably could have got better partners early on. And that probably affected him a little bit. Not that Schick and Roddy aren't solid, but they're not who he probably could have got. So, yeah.
All right, real quick, we got to give a big shout out to our next sponsor, which is Vulcan Pickleball. We love Vulcan Pickleball. They make the V Pro Flight. It is the ball that was used in MLP Phoenix.
100 degrees, Vulcan V Pro Flight.
Yep.
Held up like a champ.
Yep. It's great. The thing that I like about it is it doesn't really need preconditioning.
Yeah.
So the pros, when they're using this ball, they'll get a new ball every single game.
Yeah.
And it's like perfect.
It's fresh right out of the package. That's the best thing. It's ready to play right out of the package.
Yep.
There is a local guy here in Utah that we both know, Paul Douglas, and he bought a pack of balls, not Vulcan, the balls that were used at the last PPA Atlanta, the lifetime ball, and literally broke them within a matter of minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the first person I've heard of breaking.
Yeah, he had pictures of it.
Huh.
And he said for $15 a pack, like he would never buy them again.
Gotcha.
You're not going to get that with the Vulcan. So,
if Lifetime ever sponsors us, we'll edit this segment out.
well, yeah, I mean, exactly.
All right, thank you for the sports. Go check them out at vulcansportinggoods.com and use code KOTC for a discount. Okay, anything else? I think we got quite a bit of questions.
No, again, I think that it was a good weekend.
This upcoming week, we have Jimmy's favorite place, Daytona.
Yeah, Daytona's coming up.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, I do think that MLP, just to wrap it up, is kind of taking shape. We do need to touch on one thing really quick. Pat Smith.
Go.
Riley Newman pulled his groin.
Attempting a Burt.
Yep. Pat Smith, like the good wingman that he is, was backing up Riley and standing behind him, and he hopped in and finished the job. Are you okay?
Have something in my throat. Sorry.
And so Pat ended up winning his 2 matches, his 2 games. And DC holds on to, I think they had a 5-1 weekend.
Yeah.
So we went 6-0.
Did you see the plants on the screen? Like the leaves and stuff like that? Like they have plants on the...
Oh, really? Yeah, they put them in the corners, don't they? Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
Do you like that touch to it?
Yeah, I think it's a nice touch. I think Liv Borski's in charge of that.
Yeah.
I hope she doesn't have to clean them after, but...
Yeah.
So congrats to Pat, always being there for his BFF.
Hey, he's 2-0, which puts...
He's the number one ranked player in MLP.
The number one
right
ranked player in MLP.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's awesome. Honestly, it's cool that he truthfully, that he was ready.
Yeah.
He jumped in, and he got a big win over Tyson. And
I think they interviewed him, and he said, I might retire right now. And, I mean, why not retire when you're on the top?
Just go out on top. The winter soldier.
He likes the top.
He does.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it. But, yeah, like I said, standings are taking shape. Everything looks good. I think that...
Do you think we'll start seeing some moves? With trades, drops?
Yeah, I do. I think we will. I think it's getting close to where, like, for example, if you are, some of these teams, I'll just be very honest. If you're the Atlanta Bouncers, do you try to move Glausman to make a little bit of money back because the team's obviously
I was going to ask you.
Not working.
What are your thoughts with teams? And this is probably true in many sports, but I don't think to this degree. So not just our team, Utah, but many, many, many other teams.
Yeah.
Their attitude, what they eat, what they do with their team is heavily dependent upon their results. So, for example, if you win, you're going out to eat as a team at a nice place. If you lose, you're probably on your own.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's pretty funny. I think that a lot of these teams put on a front, but the reality is there's such a massive disparity between how some of these teams take care of their players and others. So just to give you an example, the Dallas Flash have a chef. And he travels with the team.
Is it not Mark?
No, Mark Molson?
Yeah.
No, he's the owner.
Oh, gotcha.
No, they have
I thought somebody said it was Mark.
Oh, no. They have a separate guy who is the chef.
Yeah.
And he travels with the team. And I know that like Georgia and J-Dub have like some severe dietary restrictions, but this dude travels with them. The Shock fly private, right? The Smash flew private recently. A lot of teams will take their players out for every meal. The Hard Eights, just to give you an example of a team, they literally tell their players, anything you spend on that weekend that you're playing for us, turn it in for reimbursement.
So we can go on a
Literally,
shopping
if you
spree?
go to the gas station, yeah.
What about Amazon?
Sure.
They
They tell them to. So, and then on the flip side, there's teams, that cancel dinners because they don't want to, they don't want to pay for it or, and honestly, some of these players probably aren't that fun to hang out with. So I probably wouldn't be doing dinners and stuff with them either. But
I just think it's a little bit funny. I mean, if MLP wants to be a professional league, if they want to be taken serious, could you imagine an NBA coach or GM or whatever it is associated with them essentially walking out or not doing something after a loss?
Yeah, but I'm going to guess that like NBA teams, the coaches and GMs probably aren't having dinners with the players very often. The players probably hang out with the players, the coaches. But here's the other thing that's interesting though is there is like they call it a minimum standard. And they do send out emails to the teams.
And those have been increasing.
And and they basically say, hey, this is like a minimum standard. We need you to provide this for your team.
I will say, I think it's funny. So Utah Black Diamonds does not have much of a social media presence.
Yeah.
Our very first event, Orlando, we didn't win one match.
Yeah.
Now, since we started winning a couple, the entire world knew about it. We started posting, they started tagging, they started collaborating. And as soon as you start winning, they start doing all that stuff. But if you lose, then none of that stuff happens.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, I'm looking at the player standings right now. And I mean, or even if you look at the team standings, like who would you say is the team with the most money? The wealthiest owners.
Well, are you saying that spends the most on the team or just the wealth outside?
Just wealth outside.
Well, I mean, it's got to be the Brooklyn, right?
No, I would say St. Louis. I'd say Chaffetz.
Isn't Tyler more wealthy than?
No, I think Chaffetz is billions. Tyler is probably close, but I think Chaffetz has more money.
Tyler had a couple.
Yeah, I think Chaffetz has more. Either way, they're both billionaires. Yeah. And Brooklyn and the Shock are at the top, right? Or two of the top teams. I mean, I think Gary Vee has a lot of money and he's at the top.
Yeah,
the only guy that doesn't. The only guy I would say that has a lot of money that's probably not spending is Dundon, right? But
Fair.
like the DeVos family is, they're spending.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. The teams that have the most amount of money are kind of the top, kind of the top teams, right?
Okay.
So,
All right, Jimmy, give us a spiel on Holey Performance.
Yeah. So Holey, if it's 100 degrees outside. So listen, last podcast, Tyler, I had some comments that I looked.
Hey, this is blue as well.
That I look tired and sleepy. Someone made that comment.
Yes.
And they're like, what happened?
Did you take it personally?
I did. I took that personally. I went to Twitter. I said the rankings say differently. The hours of sleep that I got in my REM cycle say differently. But you want to know what the difference was between the last podcast and this one?
What?
I did not take my Holey pregame.
Makes sense.
Before the pod.
Okay.
I actually drink Holey pregame before every pod. And it alerts me. It wakes me up. It gets me fired up. Tastes great. So check it out. HoleyPerformance.com. Pregame, in-game, post-game, greens.
Yep.
Dude, those greens, I'm telling you.
Tastes good.
They do. Like most greens is like chewing on
Everybody knows I have a very, very sweet tooth. And I'm amazed that these have 0 sugar.
Yeah, exactly.
So weather's getting warm. It's already there. Make sure you're treating your body right as you should. And you're taking electrolytes and all these other good nutrients. And go check them out at holeyperformance.com and use code KOTC. All right, you ready, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm ready. Question time.
All right. Somebody said, where can I buy tickets for MLP New York City? It will be on Major League Pickleball. I don't know if those are available quite yet.
I'm not sure if that's been officially announced yet.
All right. Yeah.
Well, there is Major League Pickleball New York City playoffs.
Yeah.
That is official. That's at Central Park.
They might be talking about that.
They may not have those tickets available yet,
Gotcha.
but should be soon.
But our
Danielle.
Our code, she's funny.
Yeah, she's great. She's from
funny.
a very big Italian family.
So I could see that. So we were warming up on center court, and the DJ was playing. I wish I was a little bit taller.
Oh yeah, like
and
that
she
song.
walks by.
Stilo.
She walks by and she says, "Hey, this is my song." And then she looks to Elise and she says, "That's your song too."
It's fair, but she's probably still 2 inches taller than Elise.
Yeah. Okay. Make sure to use code KOTC when buying those tickets. If pickle was an Olympic sport, who would represent the U.S. in singles, men's doubles, women's doubles, and mixed?
I like this question. So I think that what they would have to do is I think that they should play a tournament to who represents, like a qualifier, right? But if I had to like just choose
right now, go for it. Right now, singles.
Okay, so in singles, the United States, it would be, so let's say each team sends 4.
Okay.
Should we say each country sends 4?
Okay.
So I think you would send Hunter Johnson.
Okay.
I think you would send Connor Garnett.
Okay.
Ben Johns.
Okay.
And Christian Alshon.
No Fed? Well,
he's not American.
Yeah.
Those are the Americans. So no Fed, no Jaume, no QD, right?
You got to get Tyson in there. He's the most electrifying
Honestly,
guy.
Tyson maybe, but if the Olympics are 2 years from now, he's going to be 37. So,
and as Jim Claus says, over 30.
Yeah, over 30. You suck. Men's doubles, Ben,
Okay.
Hayden,
Okay.
Alshon, J-Dub, Dylan.
No Gabe?
He's not American.
Oh, my gosh.
CJ Klinger.
Will Howells? He's a top 10 player.
Allegedly. And maybe Will House by then, yeah. And then let's go women's doubles.
You didn't include me because I'd be representing China.
Yeah. You would be China.
Yeah.
Women's doubles, AL, obviously. AB, Rachel. So there's more American women's players than men's players.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So like Catherine would be Canada for those. Yeah. But Rachel, Tyra, Georgia, Paris. I mean, Jackie, Jade, but like Tina Pisnik would not. She would not. Lucy Kovalova would not. Mari, Zoe. So yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be really cool. I don't think that there's enough other countries represented on the women's side yet.
Well, I think there are. It's just the quality.
The quality, yes, exactly. I mean, every country will be able to send enough players.
Yeah. But that's how
the quality.
it was with basketball for quite some time. But now it's actually pretty competitive.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody said, Tyler,
By
why
the way,
don't
you know that Spain would have Jaume and DJ Young.
and Udit?
And Udit. And like France would have Jay and Noe.
Yeah.
Canada would have Blaine Javier's.
Maybe there's more competition than we think.
Todd Fote was born in Canada.
Yep.
So
Vote the GOAT. Tyler, why don't you go for your serve and weaponize it like QD, James Ignatowicz, Alshon, Deco,
I love this question for one reason only. Because I watched MLP this weekend and I saw more missed serves than I've ever seen in my entire life from players trying to weaponize it and go for it.
Okay.
Tyson missed 1 million. Deco missed 1 million.
Okay.
Connor Garnett missed a ton.
Not 1 million, but a ton.
But he missed a ton.
Yep.
There was a lot of missed serves. I even saw women missing serves trying to go for it.
But
Jesse Irvin missed a serve. Jack Sock.
is it worth it?
Well, that's the question because
And I mean, many people know my stance on this. I don't think, for the most part, going for your serve, like I'm talking about really going for it, you see the benefits, the ROI.
So, look, he's old and he's dumb and he had to stay up past his bedtime all weekend. But Jim Kloss made a comment about how good the pro players are at returning serves and that going for it, because these players are so good at returning serves, is it really worth it? And I think that's a good question. Maybe that's a question for Real Clear Stats to show, like, I think we need a radar gun, first of all.
So I think the best thing you can do for a serve is variety. Is you can go one fast, one hard, one slow, one spinny, one loopy. If you get into a rhythm of always going for it, I don't think it's valuable. for example, I just rewatched one of my matches from MLP this morning, and there was one serve that I just got over, and Deckel missed into the net.
So
and it's like I wasn't even going for it. And so those things, when I see those things happen to me and other players, it just messes with my brain. And so it's like, why am I risking it when Deckel or these other players miss these serves that I'm just getting in?
Well, I mean, Irina hits that lob serve all the time. Yep. I saw Rachel Rohrbacher tried to go for like a low short corner, like just clear the kitchen
just
line.
Variety. I think variety helps.
Yeah.
But with that being
Tyra's
said,
got a nasty freaking slice in her serve.
But with that being said, I actually am trying to go for it a little bit more than I have been.
Yeah.
So I am trying to go for it more, but
maybe
I still
need that happy medium.
I still think variety, whether it's spin,
because
soft.
if you go for it and that gets a shorter return, which allows you to obviously attack and get to the kitchen and drive off of that, then it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So I would love to see the stats on that.
But also, if somebody's ripping a serve and somebody does get it back, they're returning it with just as much pace, just as much spin.
They are. That's the thing. So it's kind of the value proposition you have to see. So
okay. All right. Somebody said, do you guys know what the holdup is with the Nashville Pickler locations? Yeah, I believe
I do.
Go ahead.
I do know.
Okay.
So I did a little research, made a couple calls. So here's what happened. Okay. Waymore Sports owns 75. I believe it's 75 Pickler locations.
The rights to them.
The rights to 75. Essentially what happened was they started building like 11, 12, 13 at a time. And it was just costing an insane amount of money. And they were just writing check after check after check. Well, the lady who's actually in charge.
And this is a franchise group.
Yep. The lady who is actually in charge came in and she said, hey, I feel like we were opening these extremely fast, which I don't have an issue with, but we need to be a little bit more strategic. So all that happened, this isn't anything that's crazy. It's not, they're not opening. It's not that the Waymore group is gone. All that happened was she slowed it down. She wanted to take another look and make sure that they're being a little bit more strategic in the opening of these locations. It was 100% a business decision. They're all still opening. It's all going to happen. She just wanted to slow it down. They didn't run out of money. It's billionaires that own it. And they just wanted to slow it down and make sure that they are making the right decisions and being strategic in the opening of these locations. And, what's funny is I talked to somebody else over the last weekend, who runs indoor pickleball facilities. And he mentioned that that they have franchisees that get in such a rush to open that they're trying to open facilities with 12-foot ceilings, and all of these things. And it's like,
got to go through the checklist.
Yeah, you got to go through the checklist. You got to make sure it's done right. And that's all that's happened. So it has slowed down a little bit. I don't know dates or anything, but it is still happening.
I'd prefer if they alternate weeks of PPA and MLP, PPA to MLP. Is that logistically too hard? I don't think it's logistically too hard, but I think it's hard. I think they want it to have a true season for MLP where people can get into it. They can follow their team around. I think going back and forth would just be too much for the players. It's hard to get into any rhythm with your team. And so I think that's what they're wanting to do.
Yeah, I think that's
logistically, it's not hard.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the plan. Is it's like let everybody focus on MLP and then switch. And the only reason that there are a couple PPA events sprinkled in is due to contracts. I think moving forward, we may not see any PPA events sprinkled in.
Yeah.
So,
in all your years of playing, Tyler,
all your years,
that's a lot. Who was your favorite partner in terms of morale?
Oh, that's easy.
Who?
Lee Waters.
Okay.
Just kidding. Who was it?
That's a good question. I think all my partners have been good. All of them, I wouldn't partner with them.
Even Jilly B?
For multiple tournaments if I didn't like them. I've played with a lot of people one-off tournaments or 2 or 3, but I'm talking about long-term. So Callan Dawson, I think his morale is very chill. It's very calm. I thought that was good. Connor Garnett, we get along pretty well right now. We have good chemistry, it seems like. Most of my partners have had pretty good morale, I think.
What about mixed? Who's the worst partner you've ever had?
Well, one-off tournament or multiple tournaments?
Multiple tournaments.
I don't know.
You don't dare say.
Who would you say?
Multiple tournaments? I don't know. I mean, you've had a lot.
I've had a lot.
You did not saying she's a bad partner. I actually really like her, but you used to play a lot with Michelle Esquivel.
Yeah, we did well, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was back 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Michelle's a goat.
Okay. Jimmy, do you actually hate Rachel Rohrbacher and think she is a fake person?
No, I don't hate her.
He's lying right now.
I don't hate her at all. I think that she wasn't very nice to me, and I'm not sure why.
Who on tour is known for being a bad teammate and why? I think there's a number of players that would fit this category.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think Ben Johns and Colin Johns are clearly bad teammates by walking out on their team. I don't think it gets any worse teammate than that.
Okay.
Are there teammates also that get frustrated with their teams? Yes. We've seen that as well from several players. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that, look, we're taking players that are generally used to playing individual sport, and we're trying to force them into playing as a team or a sport with one other player, right?
Yeah.
These are tennis players, a lot of them, who played, it was them against someone else. Mm-hmm. And now they're being required to play as a team. It makes it tough.
Out of all the MLP GMs who are not pro players, who is the best pickleball player? Dowagen, Ryan?
Yeah, Ryan's probably at the top, I would say. I would say Ryan's the best.
Graham?
No. Amir Dalik is really good, but I don't even know what he's doing anymore. I haven't seen him in forever. But I would say Ryan. I would say Adam Stone. He's technically a coach, but he was also a pro.
Yeah, he was a pro. I wouldn't count him.
Yeah, I would say
Dave Fleming. Well, he's not
GM anymore. I would say probably Ryan.
Okay. QD said when he was with Selkirk, he would replace paddles every match. What about you, Tyler? I'm probably not that frequent, but it varies. I'm probably switching out once every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how many tournaments I'm playing or how hard I'm hitting.
So you're saying that essentially that Vulcan is more durable than Selkirk?
Yes.
Okay. Take that. Do you notice that Sipic looks just like a Selkirk?
It's the Temu version, man.
Same, yeah. Well, is it Temu because it's from China? Is that why you're saying that?
Why don't female players go for Ernie's as often as men?
Because I think that they're not as long. They don't have the length and the size. But there are.
I think they just don't practice it. They're just not as comfortable.
Yeah, but there are some female women that do like try to Ernie.
They do, but it's not nearly as much.
No, not as much as the men. Yeah. No, I mean, but they do show it. In fact, speaking of, we've talked about her on the pod a lot today. Jade shows it a lot as a lefty.
Yeah. She'll go.
Yeah. Now, I mean, is she going for it as much as the men? Not even close, but she'll at least show it. Is it easier as a lefty? Is that why?
Deckel goes for it a lot. Alshon goes for it.
Yeah, Deckel gets a ton. Yeah.
He's also 6'3", 6'4", with massive wingspan.
Yeah.
Thanks for the KOTC code. Save some good money for MLP Grand Rapids Ticks.
Yeah, MLP. Hey, Grand Rapids, I'm fired up. BCO.
Any updates on PPA Toronto or pros to Canada? So I talked to somebody last week, and they said 100% PPA Toronto is happening.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you going to play in that?
I would like to.
Do you have a passport?
I do. I just went to Italy.
That's right. Okay.
Italy is great. I love Italy. Referees, what needs to change to better the game and their performance?
Should we talk about this hindrance? You sent out a tweet real quick. You sent out a tweet basically that said that there hasn't really been much legit hindrance calls.
In my opinion, 95% of the time hindrances are called is cop-out. It's an excuse. It's to try to get the other team to lose a point.
So you send that tweet out, and literally the next match you play, ball gets popped up.
Yeah.
Deckel hits overhead and literally yells.
Celebrates
early. And Connor Garnett sprints over and gets it back.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was joking, obviously, and said, Tyler can't argue that hindrance.
I didn't, though.
And you did not. Yeah. And Connor, he really didn't. He just walked over, said something to the ref.
Yeah.
It did look like Connor Pardo argued it later.
The issue is that I don't agree with it, but that is how it stands right now.
Yeah.
That is the rule right now.
So the rule right now, and
I don't agree with it. I think they should get rid of it.
Yeah. So the ref, Mark Thomas, great ref, he said he didn't.
Firefighter. It was his birthday also.
It was his birthday. Guy's a hero. He basically said that he didn't feel like it went to the level of a hindrance.
Yeah.
And so he.
But that's the
it.
issue is objective or subjective.
But earlier in the tournament,
Yeah.
same exact thing happened, and Tyson celebrated, and
Yeah.
before Todd even said anything, Tyson. So basically, what happened is it was a dream breaker, and Tyson had Todd on skates, and ends up basically has Todd on one side of the court, and it just has an easy winner, and Tyson hits it and like celebrates the put away. Todd never gets to it.
Yeah.
And they called the hindrance on Tyson for celebrating the put away before basically the ball hit the ground.
Yeah.
Which was way, way worse than what happened. Like Tyson's was less of a hindrance than because Connor actually got the ball back.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just such a weird rule.
I just think they need to get rid of it. There's too much gray area.
Yeah.
And too many players use
Problem
it.
is if they get rid of it, our players are going to start screaming midpoint and doing stupid stuff.
Hey, if you know that they can scream, then just deal with it. I mean, look at basketball, look at football, look at
baseball.
baseball.
What you do? You step back and hit him in the teeth like Ben does. Because he cares about safety.
Exactly. When is Dylan going to start playing the left in men's doubles? I think he tried it, and I don't know if he didn't like it or didn't have as much success or couldn't find partners.
He knew that it was going to be like baby giraffe, newborn baby giraffe learning to walk, and that it was going to take some time. But the problem is he started playing it and then realized, a lot of players, good players, still want to play with him. And a lot of those players are left side players.
Yeah.
And so I think he was willing to go back to the right. I actually heard that we may see Onsons and Dylan for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, they had that great run in North Carolina, and so I think that kind of
solidified. So we may see
it.
the two of them for the rest of the year, and Eric will most likely play the left. Maybe we'll see him play a little straight up, but yeah.
Is Kloss the worst commentator on the tour, second to the number of kids lady from 2024 Mesa?
No surprise, they're friends. I didn't think he was great. I'll be very honest with you. I didn't think he was great. I think that he comes off as a little bit of a know-it-all, and also for me, like as a commentator, I have commentated many matches. I'm not good, but for me, it's like you have to give respect to these players. They are the pros, and you're in the booth for a reason. And every single person, minus Ava Ignatowicz, is a very good pro pickleball player. Just kidding. Ava, I'm totally kidding. Ava's great too. But what I'm saying is they are very, very good.
Yeah.
And just because they're getting beat or not playing well in that match doesn't mean that you in the booth are better than them.
Yeah.
And I think that you have to give them the respect that they deserve.
So I went back and rewatched one of my matches, and it was on Grandstand. And I'm not super critical of commentators because I would never do it. I don't like doing it. And so I normally refrain from...
You did it with me once.
Yeah, for like 10 minutes.
Palm Springs.
Yeah, for like 10 minutes. But this commentator was not talking about anything remotely close to pickleball.
We can talk about it. Lindsay Newman. Lindsay Newman is just there so she doesn't get fined. She literally was asking Liv Borski what would be on her dating app profile. She was talking about how she...
I don't know if it's funny or if it's sad.
How she crushes Taco Bell twice a week, which can't blame her for that. Also, remember she did the whole thing with her and Christine Maddox, and they're talking about how they charge $500 for a lesson and the Reiki healing and all that. So yeah, I think Lindsay is just there to live out her contract, and so she doesn't get fined.
Yeah.
But even that was better to listen to than Kloss, because like I said, I feel like Kloss is demeaning. I feel like he's pretty demeaning to the players.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, dude, these players, they're still pro players.
Okay, we had a lot of questions come through. We'll try to wrap it up a little bit. Is Riley Newman an old dog in a new era?
Yeah, he's got to evolve a little bit. I don't know how or what, but
am I an old dog in a new era?
I think that you're evolving. I think that the one thing that we saw, like you're speeding up balls off the bounce now. I think you were. I don't think there's any.
Okay,
but you're changing your game. You're attacking more. You're driving the ball more. You're learning to adapt your skill level to this new era of pickleball?
I see a lot of these questions. It says MLP needs to find a way for these events to be more meaningful. Any ideas? So I get what you're saying, but if you compare this to other sports, basketball, there are so many blowout games that don't mean much. And so I get it. You want every single game to be intense, but in my opinion, you can't always have that. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
And actually, if you have these games that are a little bit less exciting, it makes the games that are more exciting more meaningful.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's, when the playoffs come, they're all going to be meaningful. And look, I mean, there's regular season games in every single sport, and sometimes those games are blowouts. Sometimes they don't go as planned, and it just is what it is. So I know that we're used to every game mattering. Mm-hmm. Every game mattering. Is that even the right word? But
go with it.
But it's just not going to happen if we're going to run this like an actual regular season.
Jimmy, what do you think of James Ignatowicz?
So I actually really like James Ignatowicz as a person off the court. When he is, I don't know, we've talked, him and I, we talk on the phone. It's been a minute, but we used to talk on the phone quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Super cool guy, very, very smart when it comes to pickleball, very charismatic. But I think he has these moments of just weird boneheadedness in his life. Mm-hmm. And also on the court, he's just an odd guy. Mm-hmm. And I think that he gets so locked in when he's playing, which is fine. Everybody has their things, but he's almost like unapproachable in a way. It's just odd. The guy can be a little bit odd, but off the court. Wow,
you said that very eloquently.
Yeah, but if you ever get the guy off the court, like where you just talk to him, he's a cool dude. Like,
do you have to be a certain ethnicity to strike conversations with him?
Well, I think if you want to get hit on, you definitely have to be Asian. He loves Asian females. Clearly, he has a type.
All right, Jimmy. Merriam-Webster dictionary added pickleball as an official word in what year?
2016.
Wow, a lot of faith. According to this person, they said 2022.
Really? So recent.
So fairly recent. Okay, we'll just go through 2 more questions.
Wow. I like trivia.
Controversial one. What are some PPA teams that you think should split?
Yeah, I actually think that, PPA, I was thinking MLP. Because I think MLP contraction is the next step. But, and then it's not as watered down. Mm-hmm. PPA teams that I think should split. I mean, I think the top 4 men's teams are great right now. I don't think that I touch those. I think we just saw AL and AB play together. Tyra and George are doing well. It'd be like lower level stuff, right? It'd be like, can Jack get somebody else? Jack Sock, right? I mean, I'll be honest. Like, do you and Connor Garnett continue on where you're like, okay, we're going to make the quarters every time? Mm-hmm. Or is it a Riley Newman, Matt Wright situation where you guys split and hope that you can make a run to, a finals or a semis? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I mean, I think that's where we would see teams more likely to split.
Okay. I think this is from somebody related to the Kawamotos. And I don't know if I recall myself saying this, but they said, Tyler, would you like to change your mind about Jade being the top lefty? Did I say that she wasn't or something? I think somebody asked a question about top lefties, and I think we just did the male side.
Yeah, I mean, she's clearly the top lefty female by far, and then it's Amanda Hendry.
Yeah, so I don't know.
And then Olivia McMillan.
Yeah.
But on the men's side, yeah, I don't know. Is that, you really think it's someone related?
Well, it's right there.
Oh, I know who that is.
Are they related?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
That's actually incredible.
Okay, last question.
Yeah. Hey, Jade is she is the top lefty.
I don't recall me not saying
that. I feel like you were throwing shade.
Shade or Jade?
Both.
What did I say?
You said she wasn't the top lefty. She obviously is.
I thought we were talking about males.
She's the top male or female lefty.
Oh, look at
She
you.
has the most success out of any male or female.
Is she playing in the male division?
She doesn't need to. I'm just saying overall success.
Okay.
Is AL the best player in pickleball?
It depends on how you're quantifying it.
Well, I'm not saying male or female. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Get out of here. All right, last question. What would most top 20 players prefer? Being on a losing premier team or a winning challenger team? I would say losing premier team.
I would say losing premier, yeah. And honestly, yeah, I'll say losing premier. I don't want to say more because I don't want to get fined.
Okay. Oh, last question because one of your own Black Bears, Lane Sleeth, she said rate Jimmy's volleyball skills.
I mean, it's a 10 out of 10, Lane, first of all. Lane's probably, honestly, like Lane she's very, very good pickleball player. I think she's going to be a very elite pickleball player, but she's very mid at volleyball.
Ouch.
It's okay. I mean, we can't be good at everything.
Okay. Anything else, Jimmy?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. If you've made it this far, please do us a big favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. It helps us provide food for our families and pay mortgages and rents and everything like that. Yeah. All right. We will see you guys next time.